Several Republican lawmakers rallied alongside Cuban Americans and pro-democracy protesters who marched in D.C. on Monday to encourage the Biden administration to support the Cuban people in their fight for freedom. Representative Michael McCaul, R. Texas, and Senator Rick Scott, R. Florida, were among those who participated in the Cuba Freedom Rally near the White House. In a video posted to his Twitter account, Scott can be heard telling the crowd in Spanish that they are not alone in this fight and that the liberty of Cubans is very important to Americans. "We will prevail if we show up every day and make sure Biden shows up every day," Scott said. Also in attendance were Representative Mario Diaz-Balart, R. Florida, and Representative Maria Salazar, R. Florida. The rally took place on the 68th anniversary of the Cuban Revolution. Republican leader Representative Kevin McCarthy, R. Calif, on Monday sent a letter to Biden requesting a meeting to discuss the best ways to move forward and support the Cuban people against the oppressive regime in Havana. "This is a moment when the United States can change the course of human history for the better," McCarthy's letter read. "We must support our Cuban brothers and sisters as they seek to take control of their future and liberate themselves from the communist malignancy." Protesters marched in D.C. on Monday to put pressure on the administration to take further action to support the Cubans fighting for freedom. Earlier this month, the Cuban people carried out the most widespread protests the country has seen in decades over food and medicine shortages, as well as power outages. The protests turned violent as participants clashed with the police. As previously reported by Fox News, the administration asked the State Department to review staffing levels at the embassy as a means to facilitate diplomatic and civil engagement, while it also engages with the private sector to make the internet more widely available to the country's residents. Late last week Biden announced new sanctions against elements of the Cuban regime and said it will continue to designate Cuban officials responsible for violent repression and human rights violations. President Miguel Díaz-Canel gathered supporters in the streets following the mass demonstrations and delivered a speech where he partly blamed the U.S. embargo for the unrest.